Hey guys, welcome to the PGC Podcast. I'm here today with Caleb, my co-host, and I'm also here with Doug, who is our special guest today. How's everyone doing today?
We're doing good.
Doing great today.
Awesome. Doug, since the audience doesn't know you, why don't you go ahead and maybe say a little bit about yourself, and tell us a funny story you might have with either myself or Caleb, or an experience you've had in our community.
I've been friends with Sean for a long time. I joined the group probably about 6-ish, 7-ish years ago. It was a while ago, so long ago that I couldn't remember exactly how long I joined back. But I've had a lot of good times. I eventually made my way up in the Battlefield community to be captain in his milsim. And I think the best way to talk about a funny story would be to mention something from the milsim. So earlier on, when I was still probably about a sergeant rank in his community, me and my friend Declan, an old member, somebody that I haven't seen in actually quite a long time, we were doing an MCT, which is basically like a milsim combat training. And eventually, at some point through it, we kind of made the decision that we were going to stay on afterwards. And this is something I liked about the event, Sean, is that after an event was finished, you could stay in the match and kind of fight all multiplayer like after you kept it serious that whole time.
Play like a zombies mode.
Yeah, like zombies. Zovad 311 was the map that we would do our MCTs on. So me and Declan had the bright idea of just clearing out all the trees on the map. And yeah, we actually ended up doing it. I think it took us about 2 hours to actually take down every tree on that map.
Let me pull up a picture here of that. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, you have a capture of it.
Yeah.
For our Spotify guys, the picture is of a very obviously foresty map that has absolutely no trees on it.
Yep.
So all you see is a bunch of tree stumps, and it's pretty comical. Like, I think these guys spent a couple of hours. It's pretty impressive. I feel like if the game developers of this map saw this, they'd be laughing.
A lot of munitions, a lot of grenade launcher rounds, a lot of time spent in LEVs and helicopters.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds awesome. Thank you, Doug. Caleb, you want to go over what we're going to be talking about today?
Yeah, so our topics for today, we got to get into the special topics. Starting out, we have the state of casual and competitive gaming. That's right. We're going to be delving into what's the difference and how we're seeing the trends of casual and competitive gaming. The next one, we have Netflix gaming, which Sean actually did a lot of research on, and he's going to bring up a few points on that. And, of course, we got to talk about the best games of all time. We started that last podcast and continue it this time. We have some very spicy and controversial games on this list, so you guys aren't going to want to miss that. And as always, we have a special topic at the end that we're going to keep our mouth shut on. We may or may not get to that, so you don't want to miss that one either. So running all the way back to the state of casual and competitive gaming. Sean, do you want to start?
Sure. So, what I'd actually like to do for this is I'd like to maybe mention our favorite casual games.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and start off. My favorite casual game is by far Elite Dangerous. You guys have heard me talk about this in the last podcast. Elite Dangerous is a immersive, open world, open universe kind of sandbox where you go around in the Milky Way galaxy. And it is a 1-to-1 ratio. So, for example, you could go to Sagittarius A, the supermassive black hole in the center of our galaxy, and go see it for yourself in the game. And the cool thing about Elite that I really enjoy is that, the game developers, they add in stuff that's found by NASA and stuff like that. So, like, a lot of it's pretty accurate. Some of it is fiction. Like, they have, like, a little aliens and stuff, so there is some fiction in it, but overall the game is really solid, and it's a game that I can always come back to. And here's what I like about it is it's casual in the sense that I'm flying through space and I can have Netflix on in the background and I'm not
Yeah.
worried about blowing up. Okay, so that's what I mean by a casual game. Something you can be relaxed while you're playing, and it's something that makes me feel relaxed. Now, a competitive game, that's one where you're on the edge of your seat, going, going, going. So, um, Doug, do you have a favorite casual game you could think of right now?
I actually do, and if you haven't heard this game name, then I don't know what's wrong with you, but my favorite casual game to play is Skyrim. Sitting down, being immersed in the world, an open world where you can go wherever you want and not have any worries besides maybe getting killed by a dragon if you're on legendary difficulty. But
Right.
if you're just looking to sit down and enjoy some time and just walk around, Skyrim is the way to go, or even any of the Elder Scrolls, or basically any Bethesda game that's single player is always a good sit down and play, just
Hmm.
in general.
Yeah, and the mods really add a whole new level to Skyrim. You can have Thomas the Tank Engine flying through the sky, raining down fire and railroad ties, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can
the
have
good thing
Macho
about
Man Randy Savage yelling at you too.
the great thing about that too is if you're on PC and you also do play Skyrim and you want to kind of get competitive, I heard that there's online mods where you can play with other people in Skyrim, and that's really cool to hear. It's unfortunate that I don't have a PC right now and that I'm kind of restricted to Xbox and that I'm
Right.
working on it.
Xbox
But if I
loser.
do have to sit down and play a game, it would be Skyrim.
For
Yeah.
sure. That's definitely up there with me. Especially when you're talking about the mods. The only thing with the mods is you get to the part to where you're like, well, I might as well just have some extra gold. Well, I might as well just have the greatest sword of all time. It's
Yeah.
only aesthetics, right? So,
Right.
Yeah.
You
uh,
have to set boundaries and rules for your modding experience sometimes, or else it'll
yeah,
get stale.
yeah.
Caleb, what about you? You got a favorite casual game right now?
I do, and it's gonna sound repetitive, but I mentioned it last time. Though I'm starting to get kind of old of it, but um, Noida. I have mentioned it before.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know why,
Yeah.
but dude, that game is still so much fun. Again, you just load it up every time it's a new experience. So again, since I mentioned it last time, I won't talk too much on it. Um,
Right.
but I just like to play. It's definitely something super casual. Like you're not trying hard at all at this game. So
Right.
definitely fun.
Well, let's talk a little bit on the state of casual games, because I had a conversation with my sister's fiance the other day, and he was saying how he loves playing games, but he feels like nowadays having a full-time job, having to work consistently, that it's difficult for him to find time to play these really high fast-paced competitive games, because a lot of them you have to spend some time on to unlock the different attachments for the guns and things like that. For example, like the new Call of Duty and stuff, how you have to play pretty continuously to even rank up and get prestige, like how it resets every season. Like he finds that really frustrating. I found out his like casual game is actually Halo. So like he'll go and he'll play like either the Halo story or just the multiplayer, and like that's pretty casual to him. Whenever he plays, it's like the only thing he feels like he can play casually, and I can completely understand that. Halo doesn't require any type of like leveling up or anything like that to unlock things. You have everything right there. Um,
Hmm.
right now, just to give you guys some insight, like the top sellers for casual games on Steam is like Sims 4 Power Wash Simulator, where you're literally
Yep,
using a power
I seen that.
washer
Jeremy
and
played that.
power washing things. Like it's relaxing. It looks genuine, but I would almost tell people like you could go make money. Just go power wash. Like you clean your house. Stardew Valley's on the list. Guilty Gear Strive, which I've never heard of that.
Let me find a
City
trailer on that.
Yeah, City Skylines is on here, Fall Guys, just things like that. But like seriously, on the Steam shop for casual games, like you have Among Us, Uno, Streets of Rage. I feel like way back in the day, you would have had way more games on this list. Like the games that are on here, like don't get me wrong, these are decent, fun games to play, but like I'm almost, in my opinion, I'm kind of shocked that these are our top tier games. Is like SimCity for casual games. Like what do you guys think?
Well,
Yeah, go ahead,
I'm gonna
Doug. I'll think
say
about it.
when it comes down to gaming and how that it has transformed over the years, you have the NES, which is like the father of games.
Yeah.
Their games were quite simple and people enjoyed them. I feel like now that we're getting older, like I started gaming when I was 8 years old with a GameCube. As we get older, we want to simplify things, and I feel like that's the way that the gaming community is kind of turning right now, especially with how many people have gotten over that age gap and they are working more and they don't want to involve themselves in some MMO that they have to spend so many hours just to unlock this one certain thing,
Right.
and they just want to jump in and be able to do stuff. And I completely agree with that. That's why I like Skyrim, because when I sit down, I have to achieve these things. When you get older, you get used to achieving goals and it taking time and it taking effort. So that when you sit down and you actually do these things, like the reason I like to play Skyrim so much, is you have to go through a dungeon and achieve this and fight a boss to get this legendary item. And it just kind of gives you that sense of accomplishment, something
Yep.
that you might not find in your average day. And yes, a lot of these games that have come out recently don't spark a lot of interest with me, but that just they're top tier games in their own perspective for their own people because that's what people enjoy.
Right.
Right.
That's just what they like. And I'm gonna support them no matter what. If
Hmm.
they like to play those games, that's the reason they're so far up there, then so be it. We gotta
Right.
enjoy the games that we
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. And going off of that, like you're saying, I think a lot of it has to do with the industry, just because it's a lot easier to market and put a lot of money into a game that's going to constantly uh, give you back money. Like, it's hard to put microtransactions inside of a single player story driven game. If you've ever seen Modern Warfare, if you've ever seen any kind of Call of Duty, Destiny, it's all full of microtransactions, and the whole point of the game is to make it last as much as possible. So they want this game that they put out like Cold War, they want Modern Warfare to last like years and years and years. So I think making a single player, like again, we haven't seen a single player COD in a long time. They took those out. Same
Yeah.
thing with Battlefield. They're not going to have a single player in Battlefield. So you obviously the market itself is saying, hey, single player games are more so for indie developers, or maybe like a massive one in a million game like the next Elder Scrolls game.
Right.
Um,
can.
These
yeah.
game companies, they're looking at, how long can this one game make us money? Like, look at GTA 5, for example. It's now been on three different consoles
Billions of
and
dollars. Yeah.
billions of dollars. I mean, who hasn't gone and taken the mom's credit card and bought a Megalodon card? I'm just kidding. But you know what I'm saying. It's pretty ridiculous. Not to say GTA 5 isn't doing a great job. It's doing insanely great, but you can slowly start to see the community start to get more and more upset about, they can tell that is what these companies are doing, is they're trying to see how long. The question isn't, how many sales can we make on day one launch? Now it is, how long can we keep making money off of this game before it is dead to us,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
it's a weird situation because you do have to look at it from a business standpoint because that's what these companies are doing. But there is a level of community satisfaction. How many times are you going to push the community down before they get upset about it, right? And these companies have seen that. They've seen that over the years. Um, No Man's Sky, I want to talk about this while we're on casual games.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky is an excellent casual game that, when it first launched, was absolute garbage. And nowadays, you could open up No Man's Sky and have endless hours of fun because they've just poured content into it. So seeing, business companies and gaming companies react to the community and see how they improve games, that almost gives me way more respect points to these communities. For example, Battlefront 2 also came out when it first launched. They did an awful job in how they pushed the like character development and stuff like that. Like you had to buy multiple packs to try to unlock Darth Vader, and you couldn't even get him at like his max level or whatever. So it's glad I'm really happy to see that there's no microtransactions in Battlefront 2 and like how they've improved that game. And I believe other companies should follow that. You know, it's been sad to see what's happened with Cyberpunk. The reason I'm bringing this up is because these are all casual games that have been kind of hurt in the past, and this is how these companies have reacted, right? Um, let's go ahead and talk on what everyone's favorite, you know, competitive game is. Since we talked a little bit about the casual stuff, I'll start again with this. My favorite competitive game, you know, of all time. If I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna try hard, and I know some people would disagree with me because they'll see this as possibly a casual game, but I love Battlefield. I could sit down and I'll tell you right now, if I end a Battlefield match and I'm not number one on the scoreboard for both teams, I feel like I lost the match. It doesn't matter if we won by an exceptional amount. If I'm not number one on the scoreboard, I feel like I didn't do a good enough job. There was a point in time where in Battlefield like 3 and Battlefield 4, I would always be top of the leaderboard, like no matter what. Games like Battlefield 1 came out and I wasn't, you know, I wasn't the biggest fan. Because I guess what? I wasn't number one on the board. It was a different style of gameplay that I wasn't into, and the way that I would play Battlefield competitively with trying to, you know, maybe flank someone or do like I used to do this one thing. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's basically I'd distract them. It's psychological warfare. So I'd throw a grenade somewhere really far away, and or like a flashbang or smoke, and make them think I'm going to run this way, and then I'd come around this way. And they'd be like, whoa, 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 I was not expecting that, right? And I normally get them. But yeah, Battlefield, great competitive game for me. Although it doesn't have a league community like Call of Duty does, it's a great competitive game for me. I think the league play in Call of Duty is a little intimidating for me, to be honest. I feel like it's there's a lot of people in the community. There's a lot of really good players, and the way that they have, I guess the word is like, it's very professional, which I enjoy and I think it's cool. But like the guys wearing like the FaZe shirts and stuff, that's not really my thing too much. But Doug or Caleb, you guys want to talk about one of your favorite competitive games?
So recently, one of my friends have really been getting into Escape from Tarkov, and
Ooh.
dude, that's a rough game, man.
I've been wanting to check it out. Can you say like what is it about? Like I don't know anything about
as
it,
we
really.
as we play the trailer here in the background, so Escape from Tarkov is a lot like DayZ. For those who played it, you start in with all the gear that you have, and if you die during that time, then you lose all your gear. And the goal of the game is to loot as much as you can. B is to find certain little places on the map like that have like the most amount of loot, and then try to get the hell out of there by extracting. So it's really fun. Again, it's very very similar to DayZ, but it's just very tactical. It's like if you can imagine like DayZ and like Arma or Squad put together.
Okay.
Very very tactical, and like you have to watch your shots because every shot, every bullet, everything counts. So it's very fun. You definitely, it's not one of those games that you could just kind of lay back unless you're going like scav mode or whatever. You have to always be on it because again, if you die, you're gonna lose all the loot that you saved up for. So
Right.
Escape from Tarkov is definitely one of the games you have to be competitive with.
Escape from Kharkov, is that like you drive like
That's
cars
actually,
and stuff?
yeah, they're actually going to add a new version of the game, Escape from Kharkov. Yeah, it's going to be really
I love
fun.
it. I love it. Doug, what's your favorite competitive game right now?
So, right now, in my opinion, I mean, I would say Battlefield, but you already mentioned that.
Oh
But
yeah.
Caleb said it 3 times. It's gotta be DayZ for me. I love DayZ so much.
Okay.
The way that you can build, the communities on there, and the experiences that you can have interacting with different players, whether that be through just meeting them and then finding out what their gamer tag is.
Or trading.
Right.
It's just
That
the
always goes
entire
well.
aspect of being dropped into a world with nothing and working your way up and then having to worry about losing all of it in an
Right.
instant like that, whether it's a car that you build in this town, all the gear in your backpack, or starving or dehydrating.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that also, it's just the worry and the fear factor of being dropped into a world where you could die at any moment and you don't know where, which is why Escape from Tarkov is also a really cool game.
Right.
DayZ is just something that I have played. I haven't played Escape from Tarkov, although I have wanted to. DayZ is just that game for me. It gives me
Right.
that factor of I have to focus at every moment and wherever I go. And it's just my favorite competitive game hands down. Besides
Yeah.
Battlefield. I would have
I
said it, but you already said
I've definitely had a couple of moments in DayZ where my heart was beating out of my chest because I was walking through a field, everything's peaceful and fine, and I hear a crack come by my head of like a sniper round. And all I ever do is immediate like gasp of breath, running, sprinting, trying to, find a way to survive because I've spent hours on this account and I've almost died countless times just to finally, have the stuff that I have. DayZ is an amazing game. I'm glad that you brought that up. Um, and talking about like the state of casual and competitive games with competitive games right now, I'll bring up Steam one more time here. There are top sellers. Um, are Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, Destiny 2, Dota 2, Smite. Smite is like League of Legends if you've never played that. It's like they're like lane-based MOBAs. Smite, I know, has been going through a ton of changes, and I know a lot of people who play Smite. Every season, these games, they change up the items, and they're constantly like nerfing and buffing these the gods or the characters that you play as. Smite just had this huge update where they take out the boots, which boots like give your character advanced movement speed, and so now there's like a default movement speed. So they've taken out those boots, and so now everything's going to move faster. So you're going to get your final build quicker and things like that. So you can see how I feel like as we get older, I don't know about you guys, but as I get older, I feel like the games are getting faster. And I can't tell if it's because I'm getting slower or if it's because like that's just what's happening is things are getting faster. Like I feel like reaction times are way more important than ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
I mean it's definitely a big change from what I can see.
Yeah.
I
So
feel
you go ahead, Raw.
I feel like these games I feel like MMOs and just like games like Call of Duty and just like shooters.
Right.
Just first person shooters have taken the forefront of modern gaming, and that's just what people enjoy now.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I was growing up, the first game I ever played, which was on the GameCube, which I mentioned earlier, was Medal of Honor Allied Assault, and it's a very old game. It was a game that my dad played just before he stopped playing video games altogether because he needed to focus. And it's what got me into that genre. My first ever game that I played. It's like people play different types of games to begin with, but I feel like as we got into those first person shooters, there were more and more of them being made, so people got introduced to them. I feel like that first game that I ever played, Medal of Honor Allied Assault, got me into Battlefield, got me into Call of Duty and enjoying these shooters. And as more of them were made, it was more of an opportunity for people to play them for the first time and enjoy them. And that's why I'm saying first person shooters have kind of taken over as the forefront of gaming. When you talk about gaming, you hear about Call of Duty, you hear
Yeah.
about Battlefield, you hear
Mm-hmm.
about Valorant, you hear about Apex Legends, Fortnite. You
Yeah.
hear about all these just shooters. That's just because that's what I feel like a lot of people have grown up on, at least in this
Yeah.
generation.
Yeah, I agree with that. And again, with the mainstream of battle royales too, that hit the stage pretty hard as well. Like you mentioned, Fortnite. We had PUBG, Fortnite, Worms Royale, which we played
Right.
on our Game Pass Gauntlet. Everybody's doing battle royales. Everybody's trying to figure out, hey, we gotta get the most players possible.
I kind of hope we're on the back end of battle royales. I'm kind of hoping we're like exiting that phase, because that's gotten old, and it's gotten old quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man.
The companies have made their money off of them, and they just need to go away.
I think at the end of the day, whether you're a fan of casual games or competitive games, or maybe you like a little bit of both, like us, at the end of the day, we all play games to have fun. Some people play it, more serious than others, but it's all about what you enjoy doing, like Doug was saying. It's about what the person or the gamer themselves likes doing. So, keep playing the games you want to play. I encourage you guys to reach out to the community of the games that you guys play in, and try to branch out and give feedback and stuff like that, because the future is in our hands, in a way, when it comes down to all this. So it's part of why, like PGC, we have different sections for different games, right? So we have like competitive Call of Duty, we have like the casual Minecraft people, whatever it is, there's a game for it, and there's people to play with. So just always remember that. And hopefully in the future we could see some new competitive or casual games coming from Netflix.
Whoa.
So let's talk about that. Yeah. So Netflix, tell me what you guys think about this. Netflix is starting their own gaming studio. So it's not just... So there's two sides to this. Netflix is talking about having games on their library. So you go to turn on Netflix like you're going to watch a movie, and there'll be some way to Bluetooth a controller, and you'll be able to play games on your Netflix and stream it. Microsoft has kind of started to do this in the past. We've seen this with the Xbox Game Pass. You can stream on your phone if you have a Microsoft or an Android device. Mm-hmm. Or a Google device. You're able to actually stream, like, for example, I can stream Forza Horizons 4 straight to my phone, or any of the Halo games. I can even play DayZ, like Doug mentioned, on my phone. So Netflix is kind of hopping into that, and they're seeing an opportunity for them to expand their library to where you can click on with a Bluetooth controller and start playing your games right there on your couch. Now, there's a couple of different layers to this, right? How is that going to affect Xbox and PlayStation? How is that going to affect console sales? Are consoles going to become a thing of the past? I don't know about that. I know a lot of console players that would never, they'd never give it up. Yeah. So what do you guys think about that?
So one of the big things, just reading here, it was definitely a play to stretch out their market share, because I feel like with them, they're like, okay, so we are a video streaming service, but compared to a lot of the other streaming services out there, like Amazon owns Amazon itself, then it has Amazon Prime Video, then it owns all this other stuff, and so
music.
Netflix, and music, all sorts of stuff. And Netflix is like, hey, we literally just have a video streaming platform, that can only get us so far. So I feel like this is a branch into other things, open up other markets, and that way you won't, whenever you think of Netflix, you won't think of just
movies,
films on the net. It shows right here, it says Netflix shares gained as much as 2.8% in pre-market trading, which obviously that was a bump to them. I think that's kind of what they're expecting. So I think a lot of people see this as a good play. More competition in the end, I feel, is going to be better.
Yeah.
And more services, maybe, hopefully they're not going to do like they did before and just start it at like $7.99, and eventually 2 years later it's going to be $20. So
right.
We'll see. What do you think, Rob?
So when it comes down to them franchising and them making games, it's always a good thing to have more creators out there to give you more options and to go out and play and experience these things. But you gotta think, you go watch movies, you don't go watch Amazon Video, you go watch Hulu, or you go buy some DVD, or you go to a streaming service, like an actual streaming service. There are things out there that are meant to do one thing. there are people that can go out and branch off and try new things. Yes, it's good that they're trying it, but I don't know if it's exactly a good idea that they are actually doing it. Yes, they'll make more money off of it. It's more marketing. Good things. But it all depends on the product, and I'm gonna wait to see the product before I really put my mind forward and judge it.
Right. You just made me think of Google Stadia when you were saying that. Google Stadia came out, and what a, I've never played a game on Google Stadia. Have you guys? Okay,
No.
so, we just have to see. Netflix could come out and it could be this extraordinary expansion to their franchise, and maybe it's great, or maybe it's not good. Maybe it's the next Stadia. Now, let me bring this up. In the article that Bloomberg posted, they also talked about Netflix is acquiring game developers. They've been having job postings out for that. So this is the other thing. Netflix could be creating games as well as having them on their library. So what that could mean is, let me name a few shows, right? Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's something that they have. So they can make an Avatar: The Last Airbender game. As a kid, that would have been the coolest thing to me. It still is.
Some of those.
Stranger Things. They could make a Stranger Things game. There is like a phone game, kind of like arcadey indie. It's on Xbox as well. But you could see like more serious Stranger Things games, or what's another like really big Netflix show? I mean, there's so many of them, and especially with all the Netflix originals, it would be. I'm really interested to see what type of quality a game they put out. If this actually becomes a full-fledged thing, what would be the first game that Netflix puts out? You think it?
I got it.
What do you think?
Hear it? It's the House of Cards. So Kevin Spacey had a bad run, okay, but this is his chance to come back, right, in video game form, right, and it's gonna be realistic this time, okay, strictly based upon the Kevin Spacey story, what we all want to know. So I think it's gonna be great. House of Cards video game, exclusively on Nintendo Switch. So
Nintendo Switch, nice. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what Netflix has to do with this. There's also, the interactive shows portion. I haven't seen a lot of other interactive shows except for Black Mirror Bandersnatch, which my first time watching that, I gotta say, it's been like a year or two now that it's been out. But like when I first watched that, and he gets to, I don't remember what part it is, but it like gives you an option to like, take like a pill or not. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what's happening? Why is this text on my screen? And then I see, I get to pick what happens? Yo, that's insane. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait. So what's the right one to do? Like, and now there's a whole new level to watching a show where normally you're sitting back along for the ride. But, now you're controlling the car, where you're going, you're controlling the ride. Do you guys have any thoughts on interactive shows or anything like that?
Doug, I'm trying to think of some. Go ahead, Doug.
So, if you go on YouTube, I was a really big fan of Markiplier growing up. He came out with the Markiplier's Heist, and it's just a series of videos where you watch the first one and you can pick an ending to the video. And there's probably like 70 different endings, so many different videos that you can just pick. And at the end of it, it clicks on a video, and it basically starts a new video with two different starting points. Like, say, it ends the video in his heist of going left and then going right, and you pick go right or go left. It'll start off the next video doing that. And I think that's actually very cool, and it's a very cool concept because, I mean, it makes it feel like you're more invested into the show. It's something that you want to see. It's something that you can do, and it's just better than sitting back and just watching the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I remember, like you were saying, Phoenix, whenever Bandersnatch came out, because that's like one of the more interactive shows that you had to actually move your remote and everything, which was pretty cool. My mom was all into that. I don't know what, that just like blew her mind whenever.
Really?
They had like the special ending or whatever, and she got all into that. I remember her just like running and she's like, look at this. And I'm like, that's really cool. So it's definitely but one thing I do want to know is, that we've had Bandersnatch, but since on Netflix we haven't had another show like that. So I wonder, maybe
think so, yeah.
maybe something didn't work out. Maybe they're working on another one. I'm not sure, but that could have a play in it, and maybe it didn't do as well as they hoped or something. I'm not sure.
Okay, so they had this one actually came out, I think. Oh, this came out 2019, I guess around the same time as Bandersnatch. But they had You versus the Wild, where you go with Bear Grylls,
Oh, I've
and you
seen
get
that
to
one,
like
yeah.
choose the different things. But that was way shorter and not as I think creative as Bandersnatch, where you really just had two options of does he show you how to cure the spider bite or the snake bite, like and you can go back and just watch either one. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what they come out with in the future. I think that the future of Netflix is very uncertain, and I do feel like they need to know when to stop with these Netflix originals. Okay, I feel like for every 10 Netflix originals that come out, 0.5 are okay. Not even like a whole good one, right? So maybe out of 20, there's a good one.
Yeah, I agree.
There's so many. They need to know when to stop.
Yeah, it used to be with the Netflix original. What'd you say?
It all depends on how they play their House of Cards.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
That was pretty good. I'm glad we got that clip of that. That was epic. One thing, though, is with, we're watching Bear Grylls, what would he do or whatever. And you're right. I remember loading the video up, and I was like, okay, yeah, I like Bear Grylls and, the survival thing.
Be cool.
Yeah, but it was like you just said, you can rewatch the video and be like, oh, no, he went down the ski slope. Dang it. Oh, that wasn't a good idea. Oh, no.
I'm going to rewind it and look at the one where he tries to walk across this falling apart bridge. Oh, my.
Yeah. So...
and there's interactive games too that Netflix could, try to use concepts of. For example, I don't know if you guys have heard Until Dawn.
Yeah.
I watched a couple of YouTubers play that. I didn't play it myself because I didn't have a PlayStation 4 at the time, but that game looks really cool. The way that you get to choose all the different endings. Who if you make a wrong decision, someone dies, and you don't get to have that person at the end. Those things are really cool, and I feel like Netflix, if done properly, made a market for it. I feel like it would do really good, really good. There's another interactive game I was just
Detroit,
thinking of, but
Become Human.
Become
Human.
Yep, that's another really good one.
I actually really like that one.
All the Walking Dead games, GTA 5 even did it. With there's 3 or 4 different endings. The game's been out for years, so I don't think this is a spoiler to anyone. But you can basically either choose to kill off Franklin, Trevor, or Michael.
Whoa!
Or you can stick together as a team and confront the bad guys at the end, right? And then
a 9-year-old game. What do you mean?
Oh no! Spoilers. Right. So. All really interesting. Speaking of all these games and interesting games, maybe we should, maybe we should check out the tier list, and go ahead and keep adding to that.
Yep. Okay, I'm right there with you. Let's pull up the tier list. This is the ultimate tier list, guys. You guys remember this from the last podcast. So far, we have ranked Fallout New Vegas, BioShock, Street Fighter 2, Smash Ultimate, Castlevania and Half-Life we couldn't rate because we haven't played. So...
and what's the scale out of for the people who weren't here for the last podcast?
Okay, so we're starting out at the bottom of poopy tier is horrible. Okay? It's going all the way from horrible, really bad, decent, good, very good, great, amazing, and masterpiece. Okay? And if you also want to just give me a number, I can put that, in according to...
Right, so 1 out of what?
1 out of 10. Yeah, 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10? Okay, yeah. Sure.
So, the first one we have is probably a very, very popular, probably one of the most popular PC games of all time, Team Fortress 2. Do we have any Team Fortress 2 players? Very popular.
I did play it. I played it a long time ago. A long time ago.
That's an oldie, man.
Only my brother was here.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I would put Team Fortress 2 at amazing. I played it with my friend, I played the Orange Box collection on Xbox 360, and that was a lot of fun, even though it was on, again, the 360. So I would say it's an amazing game, and since we've kind of played it, kind of not, and I just know that everybody loves this game, and I like it a lot too, especially with the rocket jump. So, what do you guys think, though? I'm not the only one here. I think it should be amazing. What do you think?
I could get behind either amazing or great, one of those two. Doug, do you have any opinions on Team Fortress 2?
I've never played the game.
Never played
I've
it?
watched
played the
videos.
game, okay.
It
Okay.
looks like a very good game and it's very fun, but it's just something that I never got
That's
into.
fine.
So.
The actual combat mechanics and how everything is the basis for a lot of games nowadays. Especially like the class, you choose your class or whatever, and like a lot of games are based off of that now. So I'd be okay with putting that at amazing.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I feel like anything short of that would make all the Team Fortress 2 fans, which there's a lot of them on PC, they would get pissed. So I think it's an amazing game, and like you said, it literally started the whole class system.
Yeah.
That basically every other new shooter is using now. So
yeah.
Speaking, like you were mentioned before, we have Until Dawn.
Until Dawn.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Have what you guys' experience on Until Dawn?
So since I haven't played it and I've only watched people,
that counts.
Take it into consideration. But I did watch like a full playthrough.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen like a bunch of different like endings and death scenes or whatever. But I would. Oh man, this is tough.
It is tough.
I think it's nothing below decent because at the very least it's a decent game.
Yeah.
I feel like it could even be considered a good game for like the storyline and stuff. I don't know that I'd put it up with like a very good because its replayability is pretty little. Once you've been it a couple of different ways, that's it. So my vote is going to be on good for this one.
Good. Okay. What about you, Doug?
Personally, I have to lean in the same boat as Sean. I never played the game, but I watched it plenty of times through, saw so many different endings and different people dying. It's a very good game. It has a very good story, and just the premise of the whole thing being stuck somewhere. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody if they haven't watched it, but I would definitely either play it or watch it. Find your favorite YouTuber that has it. Definitely watch it. It is worth it. I'm gonna rate that as good.
Your rating is good. Okay, so to start out, the story with it. If you guys remember all of the story, I think the plot was very, very loose. I think the reveal that happened during it was very predictable. There's a lot of things that it screams just like cheap movie, but it's a video game. So I would personally, it's so tough. I would put it like decent or bad. And if you guys are good,
let's do decent if we're cool with that.
Are you good with decent, Doug? Because the whole story and everything really brought it down for me. So, I think decent's pretty fair too. So, the next game, which I think Doug is going to have a lot of experience with, is Warframe.
Ooh,
Doug, are you a Warframe player?
I played Warframe quite a bit. A lot of the mechanics I enjoyed. Man, trying to explain it and how the game is, it's just...
I know it's really grindy, right? Like super grindy.
Really grindy.
Okay.
That's the only reason I didn't exactly like it all that much. It was a fun game. It was good to sit down and play, but all the grind going just back and forth, and stuff.
I actually haven't played this. I don't know about you guys. I know Doug said he's played this. Caleb, have you ever played this one?
I have not. The kind of Destiny, Warframe, all those kind of games aren't my tea, my cup of tea. But
why don't we have Doug?
I think that's fair.
This one and find a spot.
Man, this is tough. Because I had a lot of mixed emotions about this game. I played this game a decent amount. I'm not gonna say I grinded it all that much and that I was into it,
Mhm.
but I definitely spent a decent amount of hours playing. So
Do you feel
I'd
like
say about
it added
it's a
anything
mid
new?
tier. It's mid tier. It's mid tier. I'll say
Mid
that.
tier.
Mid-tier.
Okay.
So
So
decent, good.
I had a lot of fun playing it. A lot of different missions that you would go on, things
would
that
you
you would do.
say would you say good or would you say decent?
Decent.
Decent. Okay.
Okay.
Because the
I think
grind
that's a
just
yeah.
got me.
I think that's pretty fair. I think from what me and Sean would rate it too,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty fair. Like if we played the game, so definitely decent. Next one, we're up to the PlayStation boys playing Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, which is the latest one. Have you guys played Uncharted 4?
I feel like I should stay out of this discussion. I
Oh
don't.
no!
I've never found the Uncharted games fun, and I know that people will hate me for that.
Whoa!
I didn't like the gameplay mechanics. The gameplay mechanics to me didn't feel very smooth. I don't know. I know a lot of people are gonna hate me for it. So, and I really wasn't around on PlayStation when Uncharted was like peaking. So, if you guys want to rate this, be my guest. But I'm gonna have to put this in the I haven't played this guy.
I have never watched or
Dude, okay.
saw the game whatsoever.
I've played it, but I'm gonna consider it that I haven't because I played it a little bit and I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it'd be fair enough for us, especially because we're not PlayStation boys. We're mainly Xbox, and now we're getting into PC stuff. So I don't think it'd be fair to rate this one. However, I think to a lot of what people would say, it's like very good. But we're just gonna put it at haven't played. So that's really the best.
I'd love to rate this for
Yeah.
you guys, but it's just one of those games where I'm not into the whole Nathan Drake the treasure hunter. Like what?
What you mean, Tomb Raider? Oh,
Yeah, right. Yeah, like I just played Tomb Raider.
yeah.
So,
Again, with the Tomb Raider and the Uncharted
this would
series.
probably be a good for us though,
Yeah.
considering the community. And what
Again, there's
people-
two different types of people. There's those who watch Tomb Raider Rule 34 and those who watch Uncharted Rule 34. So getting into the
Right.
next one, we got Yakuza. Yakuza. I think this is 2. Yeah.
Yakuza 2 is a lot of fun.
Yep, Yakuza 2.
I'd put Yakuza 2 at a good. And the reason I say good is because the story is definitely better than Until Dawn. It doesn't have like grindy mechanics like Warframe. And what it was doing at the time of release was pretty, well, I don't want to say unique, but its own story was pretty fun. So yeah, I would put it as a good.
Okay. Good. What about you, Doug? What would you say?
I never played it, never watched it. I have no opinion to add. I'll agree with you.
Yeah, so you guys are watching on the trailer here. It's kind of it's not supposed to be taken seriously. And that kind of puts it up for me. I watched someone play through bits and pieces of it, so I wouldn't be able to judge it. So I think this is a Sean judged game. So,
again, I'm gonna have to give it like a good for what it was.
Good.
The gameplay mechanics were pretty fun. The level design was cool at the time of release.
Okay, good.
I enjoyed it.
I'm sure you're gonna piss a lot of people off with that too, but
Probably.
if it consoles you guys, for those who are angry, he hasn't played that much of it, and we haven't played it at all. Okay,
Yeah.
so
It makes you feel better.
if it makes you feel better, yeah, exactly.
It helps you sleep at night.
So the last game. This is the last game we're gonna be doing today.
Okay.
It is one that we're gonna know a lot about. Okay, Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1.
Ooh.
So this is something that out of all the other ones, we're probably going to know the most about.
Wait, so let me get this straight. I have to rate Battlefield 1 on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, Battlefield 1 on a rate to...
I'll see you guys later. Goodbye. Good luck with this.
Oh,
Have fun.
no.
Can I give it a 1? No, I'm just kidding.
You wouldn't rate it a 1.
No, I wouldn't. I actually wouldn't.
I think it's way better than a 1.
Yeah, the maps were cool. The big blimp that you could shoot down and it would come out, a Zeppelin that would come down and blow up and be part of the map. That was cool. All that stuff. Battlefield 1, man, it was weird. It was cool because of what they did with the campaign, if you guys remember, where like you start in the trenches and then you would die and it would take you to someone else. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I think that was one of the better parts of it for sure. More realistic. That's one thing with Battlefield 1 I think they really played into, the realism. The campaign was super strong. I remember having fun playing that.
Yeah.
And the graphics at the time were outstanding. I remember watching the first reveal trailer of all those horses running through. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it was definitely an interesting game because they kind of cut off half the community, because half the community was already sitting there with Battlefield 4 in their hands. They're like,
modern
what
stuff,
else? Yeah. What else do we need? This is modern. This is like the best it gets. And then they come out with a World War I shooter, and half the community's like, wait, this is not really what I wanted, but it looks cool. So,
Doug, what do you think?
So if I had to rate Battlefield 1 on a scale of 1 to 10, I put a lot of thought into this while you guys are talking.
Ooh.
Total, now I'm talking about single player and multiplayer, I'd probably give it a 7.
That's
7 on the good.
That's pretty solid.
I'm fair with it. I'm okay with the 7.
You're fair with the 7, so...
Really fun. There were a lot of good stories for the single player, different things you could do, flying a plane, being in the desert, like sabotaging stuff, on the front lines in the trenches, and then that prologue got me.
That prologue was really cool.
When you would die and then switch to somebody else, and then give a date for birth and death, I was like, wow.
It hit hard, man.
Multiplayer kind of dragged it down for me because it wasn't exactly what I wanted. But they also added new things that were really cool, like you mentioned the blimp and different types of planes and that bomber and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there was the Sentry Kits added something new to the game, something that I hadn't seen before, which was really cool, and now kind of bump it up for me. Maybe it wasn't balanced, maybe it was, but that's just kind of how it is, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, so you guys are thinking a great or a very good. What would you say?
Let's do great. I think it was great.
I agree. I agree.
It was a great game.
Yeah.
But to just play and sit down for the meantime, it was a great game for what it was. I'm not going to say that it was the best games I've ever played, but it was definitely a great game.
Right.
Yeah, I think that sums it up really well, for sure. Again, the multiplayer didn't have the weapons, kind of glitchy, but the story was really good, and the graphics were amazing for the time, like outstanding. So, definitely captured that great. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and wrap up the tier maker. I think we got a really good bunch of games. We got Battlefield done, Yakuza, Until Dawn, Warframe, Team Fortress 2, and Uncharted. So I think those are pretty solid games. And again,
I think our ratings are pretty solid too.
Yeah.
They're fair. We gave out the notices for everything, so.
No, I'm definitely with you. And we have a few games coming up too to look forward in the next podcast. Maybe a little bit of Tony Hawk, a little bit of Red Dead, so a lot to look forward to. Moving into the last section of the podcast, our favorite section, to be honest. We just recently posted a new series. It's called the Game Pass Gauntlet. Now, what that is, it's us going through the Game Pass games on PC and some on Xbox, and we're saying, hey, do you need to play this game? Is this worth your time? Is it worth the download? Is it worth the risk? Because I know you out there, all you people out there, you want to get your bang for your money in terms of, you're paying this monthly subscription. So we're here, me and Sean are here to help you out. We're going to see if this is a garbage game, if this is a hidden gem. And the first one we have, the first game is what? What's our first game, Phoenix? What's the first one we're doing?
Worms Rumble.
Worms Rumble. Yeah, dude, that's a real interesting game. The reason why we started with this one was because It was fresh. It was the newest one added. It's been out for a while. I think it came out in like 2015 or something. But it's been out for a while. But it just came to Game Pass, so we wanted to help you guys out, save you the download, or maybe, you never know, it could be the best game of all time.
Exactly.
So
you'll have to find out. Check out the Game Pass.
You'll have to
Gauntlet.
find out. You have to like and subscribe to find out and see if it is.
Right.
So, also, we have PGC Tours, which Phoenix is going to talk about. That comes out. When does that come out? It's pretty soon.
PGC Tours comes out every Sunday.
Every single Sunday. And what's that about? What's a little bit about PGC Tours?
So, PGC Tours is really short. I'm going to be flying around a Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is a 1-to-1 scale of the world using satellites and telegrammetry data. And these developers have gone in and made it really pretty. So in this episode on Sunday that's coming out, or it may have already been out if you're listening to this past tense, is we're going to be flying over the Grand Canyon. What you can expect in this series is kind of a relaxing video, you know.
Yeah.
We're taking off, we're flying. I'm showing you the best clips of the Grand Canyon and other landmarks around the world, and you're just relaxing, listening to music. So it's a relaxing Sunday video essentially.
Yeah. I seen a little bit of a sneak peek of it, and it's definitely one of the things where you're like, wow, this is what gaming can do. It's Microsoft Flight Simulator is one of those games to where it kind of just blows your minds that, something can look this good inside of a video game. So, lastly on the list, again, to check all those videos out, we have, of course, PGC Official. That's our YouTube channel. Please check us out. There's a lot of good stuff coming. Again, this podcast is going to be on there. We're going to get the Game Pass Gauntlet. We got PGC Tours. Dude, we got so much more coming out to you guys. So you definitely do not want to miss, especially when we get into Battlefield, because that's going to be pretty spicy. So that's
Feel
the
free
podcast.
to check us.
Yeah, be sure to
Feel
check us.
free.
Oh, what's that? Instagram? Are you going to mention Instagram?
Instagram.
Okay, Instagram boy out here. Got to give everybody the call outs. So wrapping it up, guys. Thank you guys for watching so much. Be sure again to like, subscribe, all that other fun stuff. Sean, what's your last word that you want to say before we leave? You
Be safe. Have a good weekend, guys.
Hey, what about you, Doug? Last word. Hey, there we go. Okay, guys. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.